Rising magnificently from the Champ de Mars in the heart of Paris, the Eiffel Tower stands as one of the most iconic and recognizable structures in the entire world. A wrought iron lattice marvel that was originally built between 1887 and 1889 by the brilliant engineer Gustave Eiffel for the 1889 World's Fair, which was held to celebrate the centennial of the French Revolution. And although many Parisians initially criticized the tower as an eyesore and an ugly iron giant that clashed with the classical beauty of the city, it quickly captured the hearts and imaginations of millions of visitors from around the globe, transforming from a controversial temporary exhibition piece, which was originally supposed to be dismantled after 20 years, into the permanent and beloved symbol of France that it is today. Standing at an original height of 300 meters, or about 984 feet, the tower held the record as the world's tallest man-made structure for over 40 years, until the Chrysler Building was completed in New York City in 1930. And today, with the addition of a broadcasting antenna at its peak, it reaches approximately 330 meters, or 1,083 feet, into the Parisian sky, welcoming nearly 7 million visitors every year, making it the most visited paid monument on the entire planet. The construction of the tower was itself a remarkable feat of engineering for its time, requiring the labor of around 300 workers, who assembled roughly 18,000 individual iron pieces held together by approximately 2.5 million rivets, all completed in just over 2 years, with an extraordinary safety record for the era, with only one fatality recorded during the entire building process. The tower is divided into 3 floors open to the public. The first floor sits at 57 meters and houses restaurants, glass-floored observation areas, and interactive exhibitions about the tower's history. The second floor, at 115 meters, offers some of the finest panoramic views of Paris and is home to Jules Verne, one of the city's most celebrated gourmet restaurants. And the breathtaking top floor at 276 meters, where visitors can stand in the glass-walled summit and see up to 70 kilometers in every direction on a clear day, gazing out over the sprawling beauty of Paris. The River Seine snaking gracefully through the city, the white domes of Sacré-Cœur gleaming on Montmartre Hill, the grand axis of the Champs-Élysées stretching toward the Arc de Triomphe, and the elegant rooftops of Haussmann's iconic 19th century boulevards stretching endlessly across the landscape. Paris itself, often called the City of Light, a nickname born partly from its early adoption of gas street lighting and partly from its reputation as a center of Enlightenment thought and artistic brilliance, is a city of extraordinary depth and complexity, a place where ancient history, revolutionary ideas, haute couture, world-class cuisine, literary genius, and avant-garde art have all intersected for centuries to create a cultural capital unlike any other on Earth. The city is divided into 20 arrondissements, each with its own distinct character and charm. From the bohemian streets of Montmartre, where artists like Picasso and Modigliani once wandered, to the intellectual buzz of the left bank in Saint-Germain-des-Prés, where existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir held court in the famous cafes, to the grand museums and palaces of the right bank, including the Louvre, the world's largest and most visited art museum, which houses over 380,000 objects and 35,000 works of art, including Leonardo da Vinci's mysterious Mona Lisa, to the elegant Marais district with its restored medieval architecture, trendy galleries, and vibrant LGBTQ+ community. The Seine River, which flows through the very heart of Paris for about 13 kilometers, is not merely a geographical feature, but an essential part of the city's identity. Its banks, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1991, lined with centuries-old stone quays, dozens of picturesque bridges, including the Pont Neuf, the city's oldest standing bridge dating to 1607, and the famous bouquinist bookstalls that have been selling second-hand books, vintage posters, and antique postcards to passers-by since the 16th century. Paris has also been the birthplace and nurturing ground for some of the most important artistic and intellectual movements in modern history. From Impressionism, the revolutionary painting style pioneered by Claude Monet, Pierre-Auguste Renoir, and Edgar Degas in the 1860s and 1870s, that shattered the conventions of academic art by capturing the fleeting effects of light and atmosphere. To Cubism, Surrealism, Existentialism, the new wave in cinema, and countless other cultural revolutions that rippled outward from this remarkable city to transform art, thought, and culture worldwide. The food culture of Paris deserves special recognition, for this is a city where dining is considered not merely a necessity, but a profound pleasure and a form of art in itself, where the humble croissant, flaky and buttery and golden brown, is elevated to a daily ritual, where centuries-old boulangeries turn out perfect baguettes with crackling crusts and chewy interiors, according to traditions protected by French law, where the neighborhood bistro remains a sacred institution of conviviality and simple pleasure, and where world-renowned chefs push the boundaries of gastronomy in some of the world's most celebrated restaurants. A city that gave the world not only haute cuisine, but also the very concept of the restaurant as a social institution in the late 18th century. The Eiffel Tower and Paris together represent something rare and powerful in human civilization, a physical landmark and a living city that have become universal symbols of beauty, romance, ambition, freedom, and the extraordinary things that human creativity and craftsmanship can achieve. A place where every visitor, no matter where they come from or what language they speak, can stand beneath that soaring iron lattice, gaze up at its impossible elegance against the Parisian sky, and feel, for a moment, connected to something timeless and magnificent.